especially females, but it's equally in the male world. You're
Mhm.
setting up your kid for an eating disorder. When you
Yeah.
tell your kid, oh, you're eating this, you're eating that, you're bad, blah, 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 you're warping your kid's point of view. And like, unfortunately,
Mhm.
both me and you know how prevalent eating disorders are in the athletic world, where body image is a thing and performance is a thing. You can't make comments like that. You can't, you shouldn't, a parent should not be demoralizing or poking fun or criticizing their kid's
Mhm.
diet. If anything, they should be encouraging and supportive and helpful. And I've seen parents, and this happened recently to me, where they're trying to make their kid rectify their mistakes. They're like, well, I was overweight when I was a kid, so I want to make sure that my kids start counting calories. Why is your 12-year, sorry, I'm shouting. Why is your 12-year-old kid counting calories? No, this literally happened to me a month ago. A dad's like, yeah, my kid's a baseball player, but like he's a little bit heavy and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're making your kid count calories? Are you kidding me? Have your kid play sports. Have your kid move and frolic in the sunshine and eat yummy meals and put the phone away at mealtime and
Mhm.
stop trying to put on yourself. And then the dad was like so taken back that a professional told him something. He was like, oh, but sometimes we gotta do that, especially working with youth athletes.
Yeah, we
One
gotta
thing I
be
did want to
really
add,
careful with our words because,
mhm.
yeah, it could amount into a terrible relationship with food, and then with the female athletes, the body image, and then they're cutting and restricting and obsessed with their calories. It's so sad. And I think parents just need to lead by example. And it, like, we've talked about this. We've talked about the importance of bringing back like home cooked family at the table dinners. And not only is that good to like know what you're putting into your food and like controlling the healthy foods you put into your body, but that relationships aspect, that connection, that leisure time, that's also 100% a part of recovery. Do you want to dive into that real quick and then we'll move on?
Yeah. I really I was gonna, that was on my list, like prayer, spirituality, family time. This is in the list of recovery. It's one of the hacks. Before we move
Mhm.
on, I just want to say something so I don't forget it. I think this was mentioned in the podcast before, but the best example of when it comes to like food and health and understanding is that the strength and conditioning coach of the national soccer team here in Israel was telling me how he walked into the lunchroom of his soccer players the few hours right before their big game, like their championship game for Israel. Like this is like the biggest game Israel will have, and they're all eating like cucumbers. And he's like, "Why are you eating cucumbers?" Like, because it's healthy. And this is guys. This is like fully grown 22-year-old men who are at their peak of athleticism. So, parents, coaches, just first get a basic understanding of yourself. So then you can be a role model to your kid. If you're sending over warped messages or not understanding the science, or at least understanding what healthy and eating a nutritious, fueled, intentful food is, then like you're not really assisting your kid.
Mhm. It's yeah, it's so important. And it's nutrition doesn't have to be this complicated thing. I think like you would need to hire someone if you like need help with the specific amounts for your needs, especially with like growing female athletes or even like high level college pro. Like those are cases where you might need to hire someone. But I always say to my girls, like, just learn what the macronutrients do first and make sure you get the macros you need before competition, before training, and then after competition and after training, and understanding what a protein is, what a carbohydrate is, what healthy fats are, and what foods you should eat to meet those macro requirements. That's the best way to start. Are there any other like easy tips you give athletes who are kind of new to, fueling properly?